Hello and good evening, all. It's Dan's All About Arsenal 1886. We're back again for the match reaction show for Fulham versus Arsenal at Craven Cottage. I kind of wanted to hold back to do the video until the Man United and Liverpool game finished, which my bold prediction the other day was Man United are going to win. And lo and behold, they have. So, what a prediction! I think they haven't won there for about 10 years. So, I'm quite happy with that prediction. I probably should have put some money on it, but a great result, and it puts us right slap bang top of the league with some space as well, which is absolutely fantastic for us. So, but I'm going to get straight into it. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to, want to see kind of all the thoughts in your comments and everything else below. But obviously, a little bit of things we have to sort of touch on is obviously I'm trying to build a channel, so if you can like and subscribe, it really does help. We are slowly growing, which is great. And I appreciate everyone who's hopped over from Instagram and TikTok and everything else. But we are getting some really good views now on some of the videos in just a few weeks of doing this. I'm really pleased on progress. So thanks for all your help and support. And let's get into the slideshow. So obviously we've got today's thumbnail and still top of the league. Absolutely buzzing for that, and I can't wait to go into work and say to the guys who support Liverpool how they feel. So it should be a good day tomorrow. But going straight in, obviously I've touched on it, but subscribe, remember that, do it now, and it's all done and dusted. Going on now from the sort of starting 11. Obviously, we kind of nothing we didn't expect, but we didn't know if they'd rotate a little bit more with obviously a lot of people on international duty last week. So obviously had the usual layout, sort of lineup there of Raya, obviously Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice, Zubamendi, Eza, Saka, Trossard, and Gyökeres. Yeah, I don't think there was any major changes apart from obviously Eza going in the Odegaard kind of role, keeping Trossard out on the left. So it was only one sort of main change really. So, but yeah, I was a little surprised maybe we didn't rotate a little bit more, but they've gone with it, happy with it. The result's good, so we can't complain. No injuries or anything like that, so it's really good. Um, from there, I've just sort of the actual layout of the team set out. Just wanted to kind of include this as well in the slides. So you can see how we're lining up the usual way. It's interesting. Obviously, we're seeing more of this. The Declan Rice of Mendy kind of pivot. Obviously, you've got Eze just ahead of them in more that attacking midfield role. Obviously, then Victor's kind of out on his own, so it's a slightly different kind of your typical 4-3-3. It's now the 4-2-3-1, isn't it? So it's but it's working for us. It seems to give us a bit more freedom. We're creating lots of chances. Just again, not as clinical maybe as we would like. But no, all in all, a real positive, solid performance, I think, from that point of view. But let's get into it. I don't know about you, but I put it down as Calafiori because he literally had that. What was the first half he had? And it was inches offside. And I think he deserved the goal. That was an unbelievable hit. It reminded of one a little bit like the Man City last year. He kind of just hit it sweetly and went in, but you could see how disappointed he was as soon as he realised. But you were talking, inches off. So, but what a first half Calafiori had. He was everywhere. Seems to be very much in this kind of roaming role. Never in his left back position. He's everywhere else, but I think, but it's kind of working well for us. He's got that freedom. It suits his style. He's getting forward, and it's been a real kind of good point to his game all season. So, but I just felt he had a really top first half, and I think calm down a bit in a second. But at first, he was just unbelievable. So I had to sort of have a little mention for him as well. Obviously, the first half, it did go quick. I've got some notes I will touch on at the end, but obviously halftime was 0-0, followed by obviously the goal that come from Leandro Trossard, which was the little kind of flick on from Gabriel as well. So, but he always turns up, doesn't he, Trossard? So he's one of these players you just can't put him down because he's always scores and he scores some really big important goals for us. So really pleased to see that as well. There was some obviously controversy coming up. We're going to touch on with the penalty with Saka as well. But obviously, just wanted to touch on the subs that are made, mainly for us, really, and just seeing who was on the bench. But obviously, Mikel Marino come on eventually for Eza. Martinelli eventually switched with Trossard, but not until kind of quite towards the end. And then Norgard got a few minutes just for Victor to come off on the 90th minute. It's I don't know. It was one of those just to see out the game, I suppose, from that point of view. We were very much in control, I think, most of the game, from that point of view. There was a few kind of chances they had, but as we'll know for the sort of second time running, didn't record a shot on target for Fulham at all, which again defensively is so impressive from Arsenal's point of view. And if we're going to win the league or win cup competitions or anything else, it's the defence at the moment, which Arteta has made this solid back line, and I don't think anyone can beat that at the moment. If we're going to concede, I always feel comfortable that we're going to always score, even at the 0-0. I knew I was coming at some point, and think. And it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on it. Is that how you feel watching it? Are you all kind of worried? But I was down the pub with some friends, and at not one point was I worried. I was just sort of just looking forward to it, enjoyed the game. Obviously, we'd like more, and we had some chances that we did miss. But it was nice to see Gyökeres getting on end of a couple of chances. Absolutely smashed one at Leno, which unfortunately straight at him. So, but good save from him, and he did saved the game, I think, for Fulham on many occasions. He played really well, in fairness to him. It's just obviously that little kind of cheeky goal, back post, kind of come off Trossard's knee almost, and from the crossover and flick on from Gabriel. But no, really, really impressive all round from that point of view. Obviously, a few subs, maybe we could have used more, but I think if we'd gone up, another goal or two, I think you would have seen more changes, more subs, a Dowman coming on, a Lewis Skelly coming on, stuff like that. But I think because the game was still quite tight, he didn't want to give anything away. So I think Marino coming on was, he's quite a good, from a defensive point of view, although he's, box to box sort of crashing from that point of view. Martinelli, obviously, again, just fresh legs, speed later in the game. But yeah, all in all, it was a good performance all round. I kind of got two different shots of the penalty, decision. Obviously, straight away on the field, it got called as a penalty, which I think we all agreed with from that point of view. And then it's like anything, when you slow stuff down, what's interesting, I've done this shot here, and I can show you the two and there. So with the first one, this is actually, you'll see that kind of knee of the guy who sort of takes out Saka. I can't think of the player's name, but his knee's literally bulging out because he's made contact with Saka there before he's then got contact with the ball here. And obviously in that time, like, Saka's already just about to fall down from, contact on his knee. And the fact that they went to VAR, they're getting involved again. It's the second time it's happened with us, and obviously they've still got some beef with us, the VAR, and the fact he's had to change it because there was a touch on the ball, but he took the player out first to get the ball, in my eyes. And I'd love to know your thoughts on it on the comments. It's a foul all day long. It's a penalty, and we should have been 2-0 up. I had 2-0 down, gutted. When we got the penalty, I was like, yes. But yeah, I was really annoyed, pretty much shouting at the telly, going, "What are they doing?" But from that point of view, I do think it was a penalty all day long. But please let me know. I'd love to sort of get your thoughts on that as well. But obviously, you can see what the goal and the win means to the players here. You can see the passion, which I love. Obviously, Arteta himself, he's a passionate manager, as we know, and it kind of goes throughout the team. We know how important that win was. These are games that we're losing points last year on, and we are at the moment, I think there's an 8-point difference from sort of this time last year against the teams we've already won. West Ham, we didn't win last year. Fulham, we drew or lost to. So it's just like unbelievable from the point of view and the passion of the players. But it just means a hell of a lot to not just us, the fans, but we know how much they want to win stuff, how much they want to win stuff with Arsenal. And the reason why they're all signing their contracts, extending them, and everything else, they want to stay. They can see it's coming. Exciting times, guys. Obviously, yeah, little 1-0. Fair play, Trossard. I know that's the celebration for his son at home, isn't it? It's yeah, a truly good performance from him. Really, really pleased, and I'm just glad he's. They talked about at one point, are we going to get rid of him because he's getting a little bit older? But he's there. He's a fantastic squad player. He always comes on. If he's a substitute or more of an impact normally, but he has been starting quite a few of the last few games, and he's doing all right. Performance-wise, I was impressed with him, and obviously come up when it mattered. So it's really good from that point of view. Now, this more to do with the stats side of things. So obviously we can see here the expected goals, the XG, if you like, was 1.88 in Arsenal's favour. Yeah, I think we should have had a second in my eyes from that point of view. But I think what's more impressive is the shots on target, 0 for Fulham, which I said already, it's huge. From that point of view, we've conceded 3 goals in the 8 games we've had, and I think that is something that we should be really impressed and proud of, and all may it continue because I can't see people scoring from us unless you're getting a worldy, free kick from Liverpool, and we conceded one against Newcastle and Man City. So, big three clubs, but we still have come out on top, smelling the roses. So, but shots off target, obviously, we've definitely had more shots firing. They had, five off target as well. Block shots, 4 for 4. Possession, we know we generally dominate possession, so 63% in total, which is pretty cool. Corner kicks, 10. You'd like to think, again, we could have nicked another goal or two there. So I do feel that's one thing we're lacking is just more goals. We're doing well on the goal difference overall, I think, for the league. So that's not an issue. But from that point of view, is let's just get more. Let's get ourselves way ahead. Let's not have any kind of issues later on down the line if it comes down to a goal difference or anything like that. But the fact we're not conceding, we're scoring. I just want to be scoring more. That would be great. Obviously, a lot of fouls conceded by Fulham, only 4 by us, which is good. 17 throw-ins each. Crosses, obviously, got 5-2. Goalkeeper saves, obviously, wasn't very busy. But as you can see from Leno's point of view, four saves, 4 potential goals there. And obviously, we've got 0 for Raya. Was pretty quiet. But obviously, that's what we want him to be. The defence is so good. We don't have to worry about bothering Raya, but he's there for distribution and everything else. So fantastic result. So, and obviously goal kicks, but the main thing we all like to look at is the shots on target XG and all the fun stuff. Possession's always important to see as well. So, but all in all, really, really good. We've got to talk about Bukayo Saka, obviously player of the match. He was, fantastic. He was everywhere yesterday. He was covering all blades of grass again from his point of view. He was cutting, he was dribbling, he was doing all the usual things we come to expect of Saka from that point of view. And he had a captain's performance, a different type of game for him as well. He's maturing as a player, and he's still, star boy. Come on, from that point of view, really positive. And to get player of the match, even better. Well done, Saka. So now the game's finished for Man United, winning today at Liverpool's ground. This is where the table shows us. This is the top half of the table. So Arsenal here played 8, goal difference of 12, and we've got 19 points to show for it. So we're 3 ahead of Man City. Obviously, you can see then Bournemouth have jumped over Liverpool as well, which is great. And also we're 4 points clear of Liverpool. So what a great weekend again we've had. Obviously, you can see the obviously Chelsea and Tottenham unfortunately slipping. Not Sunderland, I think, are doing extremely well for one of the sides to come up. Have been really impressive start so far. Obviously, crazy game at Crystal Palace as well. Obviously, Man United are now top half of the table, and they are improving. They're getting there. So Amarin maybe finally being able to do something. On Brighton, obviously, just the top half of the table. The bottom half, obviously, Aston Villa. They seem to be definitely finding form again, which is interesting. Unai Emery obviously has obviously found what seems to be working for them because they started slow. I think it was 4 games at the start with no goals, but they seem to be sort of back to firing all cylinders. Everton is an interesting one because they're sort of creeping around that kind of mid-table, along with Newcastle, who actually have had a disappointing results really from where they should be. Obviously, Fulham we've just played, so from that point of view, I do like them as a team, but obviously I do think that, we'll see them creep up, but I think they're going to be a mid-table team again. Leeds also, doing well there. Brentford, lower than expected, but I think with the changes and everything else they've had. Burnley, Notts Forest. What can we say about Notts Forest? 39 days and get another manager. I think most people could see the writing was on the wall early on after losing pretty much every game. Did he win one? I don't think so. And then from the point of view, obviously West Ham, no one likes to see West Ham down that low. And then Wolves, I think, have already, written their own ticket. They're going down. I can't see them recovering enough at this stage. But look at only 2 points, 4 for West Ham, not Forest 5. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one, but it's so early days. We're sort of, a quarter of the way coming up through. So, and again, watch this space. I think we've got still a long season to go. But this is going to chop and change a little bit. But I don't see this top half of the table. I think obviously the contenders are going to be Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, and then Chelsea and Tottenham probably going to be the ones in the loop with the Crystal Palace and Man United's on the lower spots. I think is kind of how I see it going. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Obviously, just touching on really the injuries, obviously, people on the bench, obviously, Madueke, he should be back, soon. Understand he's starting to come back out and do some training on grass and sprints and stuff like that. Martin Odegaard, we know he's out for, a good number of weeks now. We're talking, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks still. Gabriel Jesus expected back towards the end of the year. And Kai Havertz, we, reported last week that he is now back out. He's really, as like last time when he bulked up, he's been doing a lot of work and his rehabilitation. He's really sped up, so I think he'll be back sooner than expected, which is good. And Nketiah, we thought he might be back actually, so they still got him down as injured, but watch this space. I think we'll be seeing him very, very soon because it was just a groin injury. But he's started out there and we've seen him on the training ground and everything else. So, again, watch this space because we still would like to see our shiny new toy obviously playing more than 6 minutes on his one sort of debut. From there, coming towards the end of this, but just a reminder to subscribe. But I did want to, if I just come out of this, just to go through, remove this out and just have my lovely face there. So we had a press conference, I think, with Mikel Arteta. So I just wanted to kind of read on some of the points, obviously post game. So I'm just going to read from it. So it's on today's win. The recent history wasn't in our favour, and he wanted to change that like we did against Newcastle and West Ham at home, and that's another step. Having the mindset and ability to win these kinds of matches against really good opposition, a really difficult place to come, and especially the first 10 to 15 minutes. It took us a while to get into the game with some very unusual giveaways that was caused some caused in transitions. And after that, we started to dominate. The game throughout, the rest of the game was much better. We talked about knocking on the door against this team. They are really well organised, especially with the context of the result. The more it dragged on, I think we were better and better and managed to win the game and another clean sheet. Fair play. So the question was on not conceding a shot on target in 2 consecutive games for the first time since November 2003. It's massive, isn't it? So 22 years. His words were, no, not comfortable because as well, it feels in this pitch like it's smaller and they are straight away on you in the box. They didn't generate any big chances. It was more the feeling sometimes, especially in the first half with giveaways. And because there are a lot of players with a lot of quality in the final third with Jimenez in the box, who is a real threat. And the one goal that is not enough, which is true. I mean, I completely agree. I did really want, and like we all do, that one goal, you're always worried, last minute goal, a little mistake happens, and all of a sudden you're drawing, and that kind of shifts, and you can be 2 behind all of a sudden. So I do think we need to see these games off more, from that point of view. So, 2-0, I'd like to be winning comfortably, and that's kind of what my expectation was, and what the XG kind of was saying from the expected goal side of things. But on to the next one. So, on the importance of grinding out these wins like today. So Arteta said, you have to play the best in relation to the opponent, and the place that you have to play, that's what we have to do. The best against Atletico Madrid is going to be difficult to the best of today, and make sure that we are able to take the game into those areas. That is going to favour possibly to win the game, and we continue to try to improve. So obviously it's a big game on Tuesday. We're going to do a preview show on that realistically tomorrow. So we'll look at obviously expected lineup. Obviously we'll look at the other team as well, a bit of history, obviously their manager and everything else. So which obviously is very well known. The other question was on Eberechi Eze's performance. Arteta said he's more used to probably attacking open spaces and breaks and facing and carrying the ball with a space in front of him. But he's so good and comfortable doing that. I think he had his moments today. He put Victor, I think one or twice, he says, through in really good space. And maybe if that would have finished in a goal, it would have looked a little bit different from that point of view. But I'm very happy, he says, with what he's doing, and we can use him in different positions. And today we used him on that one, and we carry on trying to improve. So obviously the versatility of Eze is a key, I think, part for for the squad and the rest of the season because he can play on the left, he can play in the middle, he can play, false nines and stuff like that. He's so versatile. And I think it's one of the things, as we know, Arteta loves a versatile player. And Eze fits really well in from that point of view. But while Odegaard's out, I think we're going to see him in that kind of central 10 role anyway. So next was on if we're now a team that wins ugly. I don't looking back, he says. But if you ask me how I would describe the team, the players, they're tough and very, very willing. True. It says our winner. So on our winner coming from a set piece, he says great because obviously we generate so many set pieces. So you have to start from there, and we can generate so many. We have to understand, and against these low blocks, which we get a lot, when you don't really want to drop and commit that many players there, we have another opportunity to put players that we want in position, that we want with the role, and that we want, and we need to exploit that. We could exploit in today in different ways, and at the end, it was a set piece, so more than welcome. I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we are, set piece FC, as most people call us now. But I'm not complaining. I just want to score more goals from open play as well as set pieces. If we can kind of get that down, we'll be absolutely laughing. So there's a part here as well on Gabriel having to acclimatise after the international break for a long travel. And he says that's exactly the part I loved about it, because then when everything goes well in the first few minutes for a player and he's confident and things are flowing, it's for you, it's easy to continue. But Gabby has two different moments, probably not to his standard, but the way he reacted and a sense of security that was transmitted, that's maturity, and that's the mindset that we have and need in this team. So that's a really good example to use, and that I would use for sure. And there's a little touch on, obviously, Atletico Madrid on Tuesday, on if he's worried about the upcoming schedule. And with Atletico Madrid, says, yes, we know the schedule. You could see some of the players, not only ours, their players as well, have been some injuries as well. The load is what it is, and that's why we need it. The games are now, and the context demands you a bigger squad. I think all the top teams, we're in the same boat. We're going to have to manage that really well and look after them, and especially get the best out of them. It's true. I mean, there's games are coming thick and fast now. I think games every 3 days or something like that at the moment. So it's a quick turnaround. Obviously, you've got to have time to kind of rest, relax. Still do tactical stuff, ready to go in. You're training still to keep up fitness, and then they're back out and playing again. So it's kind of a relentless cycle at the moment, because the games are so much. When you're in all these competitions still, we're not complaining, but obviously it is the reality of it all, from that point of view. So be interesting to see. I mean, Tuesday, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually up at the game, which I've already mentioned before. So we'll do some match day vlog and stuff like we're up there, get some footage for you. Signal's normally absolutely terrible up there because there's so many people. So it'll be something that'll be posted probably on the day or the following day. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, if you want to follow us over on socials, it might be a case of Instagram or maybe TikTok and stuff like that. It's exactly the same name. Dan's all about Arsenal 1886. So go and give that a follow if you want to follow along from that point of view. Last sort of questions we've got two more here. So it was on the penalty being overturned by VAR. I'm interested to read this one. So regarding the penalty, I was getting a bit animated, because obviously if it's clear and obvious or not, that's where VAR have to intervene. It was taking so long, and then Anthony as well was taking so long. Then he explained the reasons why it took so long on the screen. It was nothing to do with the process. It was a screen that wasn't working. So that's fine. I think what I heard is that probably wasn't a penalty. So probably they made the right decision. And I was just animated because of the process. So, yeah, there was a technical issue, I think, with the screen. So it was taking him obviously longer because he couldn't see it. I was obviously talking to him in his headset, but obviously needed to see it. As touched on already, I think the decision was completely wrong. For me, he gets Saka first, touches the ball after. Surely if you're taking a player out to get to a ball, that there's a foul first before winning the ball. So penalty. I think I've sort of heard, and quite a few people, in sort of same mindset, same agreement on that as well. So, but yeah, I can't change it now. Luckily, we won. But if we hadn't, there'd be a lot of commotion going on, and we'd want to be watching ref watch and stuff like that to see what their reasonings are, because it just seems to be like I'm sure like any team that's got a penalty turned down. From that point of view, are going to be furious, especially if it's kind of, in my eyes, quite clear from that point of view. I'm no referee, but I think we can all see it was a foul. So the final question he had was on Leandro Trossard popping up with a moment, an important goal again. So Arteta says he has this quality to create these magic moments when a team needs it the most, and then intuition, and he's in the right place, in the right moment, and there's a huge quality for the team and a massive weapon for us. So I'm really happy. I think he's been very, very good in recent weeks, and now we have a lot of players in really high emotional state and performance level, which is really good to see. I mean, fair play and great words from our manager Arteta. From that point of view. So, look, it was a real solid performance from this week. I mean, if we're sort of breaking down a little bit from a post kind of tactical analysis, I think we look at Arsenal and defensively we were solid, no shots on target, and I think that's the kind of control that gives us a strong sort of platform to work from that point of view. The goal came via set piece with a Gabriel flick. Trossard bundled it in, which it wasn't the most prettiest of goals, but they all count, and the 3 points we most definitely will take. But we're so good on these kind of set plays, dead ball situations from that point of view. Obviously, I have sort of noted down in the open play we're less convincing a little bit from that point of view. Fulham did have some early pressure, and Arsenal didn't completely dominate in the final third, which again is true. They didn't make it. They made it really hard for us from that point of view. So very well organised from that point of view. So obviously put on sort of Saka's influence today. He's dribbling, his runs. It seemed to unlock quite a lot, and it made it uncomfortable for the wide defenders. So I think hence why he got player of the match as well. And I just noted down about Gyökeres. Still hasn't found the consistent end product, but we do like I do like his work rate. And the goal tally is the thing that's missing. It's a concern, but I still think and I still believe and I still support that Gyökeres will come good. And I think I remember the relief on his face when he scored the goal against Leeds, and he was like screaming out. And I think we're going to kind of see that again. I think from him when he scores, and I think open that door up again and just keep scoring. But I do think he needs that just to kind of take the pressure off himself because you can kind of tell the character he is. He probably put so much pressure on himself to score, but he did have some I think 2 good shots I remember on target, and he's just unlucky. Unfortunately, he tried to keep a bit more maybe placement. But he's gone for raw power, and in fairness, Leno did really well. But middle of the park, I've noted as well. Zubameni and Rice did their jobs steadily. They didn't blow the game away, but they solid performance from them all in all. So overall, really really happy from that point of view. So what else have I noted down here? So top of the league. Obviously, it's fantastic news, and I think we're going to be staying here for a little while. I'd like to think we've got a good run of games. Obviously, we've got Champions League Tuesday, so I'm just looking forward to that. And obviously, we'll be doing the pre-match again, as mentioned, tomorrow. But just looking forward to the next game. Looking forward to seeing one in person as well. And obviously, what I'd love to hear from you and your comments, your thoughts on the game and the upcoming games. And obviously, I'm not going to be doing maybe some lives while we're building up on the subscribers side of things. So I'm going to do a lot more pre-recorded and uploaded because it seems to be working better for the YouTube algorithm from that point of view, definitely getting more views on uploaded stuff rather than lives because, I appreciate people, if you're new, I'm new to you, you're new to me and so on. So not everyone's going to be tuning in for lives, but the plan in down the future is we're going to be going live in the evenings, between 8 and 9, but we'll just get our following up first and get more people watching, hopefully. So if you're watching this now, just remember to subscribe. It does go a really long way from my point of view. Obviously, it's a hobby. We love it and everything else, but we want to make more of it from that point of view. So it's all appreciated. But like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Gunners.